Introduction to World Civilizations, Chapter 4, Anatolian Civilizations. In this chapter, we will deal with civilizations that dwelt in Anatolia, and after completing this chapter, you will be able to, explain the prehistoric periods in Anatolia, evaluate the importance of the Hittite civilization and the Late Hittite City States, characterize the Urartian civilization, and the culture of the Lydian civilization, and then finally explain the significance of the Phrygian civilization. Let us start with the earliest cultures in Anatolia. This is quite important to be able to understand how civilizations flourished and what kind of developments they had made. Let us start with the Paleolithic period. This period is also known as the Old Stone Age. It can be considered as the oldest and longest period of the human history. And in this period, along with hunting and gathering, people started using simple tools. And then there was the Mesolithic period. It is also called the Middle Stone Age. Here we can talk about a transition to the Neolithic Age. And there was the use of new weapons like bows and arrows. More importantly, small stone tools made of obsidian and flintstone. They were all produced in this period. And then in the Neolithic period, which is known as the New Stone Age, there have been fundamental changes occurring in the life and subsistence of mankind. Here in this period, village life started. There was the animal breeding, introduction of agriculture and animal husbandry. That's why this period caused certain changes in social life of human beings. And then there was the Chalcolithic period, called as the Late Village Period. It ran between the first half of the 6th millennium BCE and at the end of the 4th millennium. At this time, people in Anatolia discovered copper in addition to stone, and they started to use copper in their daily lives. And then came the early Bronze Age. This age was named as the Bronze Age because people here learned to create bronze by mixing tin into copper. And there were different ages, known as the First, Middle, and the Late Bronze Age. And then came the age of the Azorian trade colonies. There was an organized trading. That's why this was called as the age of the Azorian trade colonies. And in this period, trading was quite systematic through the formation of independent trading colonies. Let us start with Hittite civilization. Hittite civilization, the mighty Hittite civilization, and the Late Hittite City States. Around 2250 to 2000 BCE, the Hittites, an Indo-European tribe, migrated into Anatolia. There, they started living with the Hattans. They were at this time the indigenous people of Anatolia. So there was the blending of two cultures, of Hittites and the Hattans. And around 1750 BCE, Hittites had established their kingdom. When we look at their culture and civilization, we can see a harmonious blend of cultures, especially the Hattans and the Hittites. The most advanced branch in Hittite art is agriculture. Even their houses were small models of the palaces. And when we look at the Late Hittite City States, we see here the migration wave around 1190 BCE, which eventually caused the collapse of the Hittites. And after the fall of the Hittites, a period known as Late Hittite City States period started. In this time, many Hittite people displaced from their homeland, they were forced to migrate to the territories in the south, and then finally, the civilization collapsed. When we look at the culture of the Late Hittite City States, we here see four main artistic styles: traditional, Late Hittite style, Azorian style, and then Aramean and Phoenician styles. Let's move on to the Urartian civilization, as another civilization dwelt in Anatolia. At the beginning, there was a confederation named Üniversitesi, made up of 8 different tribes around Lake One. Then Sarduri the First gathered these tribes under his command, under his leadership, and established the Urartu state, making Tushpa, one in its modern name, as the capital. When we look at the Urartian culture, we see that they use a cuneiform script, and their language was deciphered by making use of some bilingual epitaphs written both in Assyrian and Urartian. They worshipped many gods. Their religion was polytheistic, and there were especially 3 main gods they were worshipping. There was a chief god Haldi, the sky god Teishaba, and the solar god Suini. And then let's talk about the Phrygian civilization. Phrygians lived in Anatolia around 1200 BCE during the Trojan War. They also inhabited Europe. With the decline of the Hittite Empire, there was a gate opening to the Phrygian immigration. So they made Gordian as their capital city. When we look at their culture, they built monuments, especially in mountainous areas, and their language was developed from Phoenician alphabet. They also worship gods and goddesses, and their most important goddess was the goddess of fertility, Kybele. And our last civilization in terms of Anatolian civilizations is the Lydian civilization. After the decline of the Phrygian civilization, Lydian civilization emerged, and the name Lydia comes from their king Lydos. Lydians minted first coins out of gold, silver, and bronze. And they had rich and fertile lands and many natural resources as well. And when we look at their culture, they created many goods such as clay pottery, mica, marble, to creating engravings, and sarcophagi. So far in this chapter, we have investigated different civilizations all the world in Anatolia. We looked at the prehistoric periods in Anatolia, the Hittite civilization and the Late Hittite City States, the Urartian civilization, the Lydian civilization, and finally the Phrygian civilization.